So we're doing something a little bit different today. Instead of the normal analysis stuff, I've decided to have a look at some of the stranger, perhaps even unintentional artistic and word choices seen in some of the animatics, and especially the Outside's SMP Twitter. I apologize for the low quality of the face cam, because I am quite literally using a photo booth and a MacBook Air camera, but it'll be down the bottom for the most part, so quality won't really matter. Alright, let's start. Okay, so what would have been 2 minutes for you would have been like half an hour of failed scripts from me. So I should be down at the bottom of your screen now. And yeah, we're going to be looking at announcement tweets first, specifically on Squidneys, which is written, as you can see, in some sort of strange alien script. However, if we get up the alien language translator that I conveniently have set up here already, and conveniently already have the words in, we get the words, "The maze needs contestants, let the games begin." This implies that it is, well, a game, although why would you make a game this convoluted? If you just want an all-out fight for people to die or entertainment, why do you need to go to the expense of building an enormous, elaborate death trap? The other problem is, this implies that the maze is public knowledge, and these missing posters, which I'm going to go back to make sure everyone can see, like the official artworks that are very clearly missing posters, implies that they don't. So, this doesn't make sense. It can't be televised if there's missing posters, which means that dials down the possibility of being a game. Although, it could be a sort of Squid Game kind of thing, which would fit with Owen being sentenced to the maze like we see in Vivart's animation, where they throw a whole bunch of people in, and the winner, well, they get a whole bunch of money and they join them. Probably just people that just don't care anymore and just need a new life. Because think about it, like, almost everyone in here is either a criminal or just have had the worst lives possible, or maybe even both. It depends on the person. So this is the thing I see as the most likely, but the other option is that the creators are messing with us. Because let's think about how it's phrased. It's phrased in an incredibly dramatic way. It's phrased in a way that is so dramatic that it could almost be seen as comical, and they could just be messing with us because they felt like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if we made this really, really dramatic thing for no apparent reason? I mean, it kind of makes sense in a way. Anyway, I'm going to scroll down a second just to go to this one, which is a mathematics mistake. And it is great, or it is something incredibly important. I'm debating between the two. Anyway, it says 2 more reports of missing posters from District 8 and 19. That makes 10 reports in so little time. Now, if we go down from here, counting these 2, we get 2, 4, 6, 8 outsiders announced. That is it. Only 8, where it says 10 had gone missing. I'd say these 2 remainders are something that they purposefully left out so that they could add more people later, or say later applicants and more interesting, more implications. As for specifics, I have no clue who it could actually end up being, as we haven't really met too many people outside of the maze, but there is one possibility that I see. Our old friend, Fluff Law God, Detective Powell. Now, if you don't know who Detective Powell is a secondary character for Akko that only ever appears in Fluff. Since everyone on the SMP canonically thinks Fluff Law is dreams, no one's ever mentioned him. But that leaves the question, who is Detective Powell? Well, there's 2 options here. I think he may be some sort of mental construct that has been implanted in all their minds by the creators, and that's why he never speaks, because he has no voice to base himself off, and he only speaks in ways that they understand. To make that more clear, he plays Despacito here at the campfire, right? So, he plays it perfectly, though, and sings it perfectly, which means it would have to be a memory, if you see what I mean. I think he might be some sort of shared being of some kind. The other option is he is just another missing person who only appears for certain things for some unknown reason. Now I'd like to talk about this very first one, and why I've just been hovering over it for the last minute or so. This is the first announcement tweet ends for Ori and Aaron, or Cyberonics. However, it says 2 more have gone missing. More implies, well, some had happened before. This further emphasizes the point that there are still more outsiders to come. I don't know who they are, but they'll likely be pulled from the next round of applicants. Most likely, so yeah. The other option is they're the people from the first group, like Fire and such, that died in the ice clearing. Another interesting announcement tweets this one, and it's happening again, with Apple and Guts on the front. Two possibilities here. Either there is the same kind of pattern to who's getting abducted as there was last time with Fire and such, or perhaps a reference to the war between demons and humans, which could have started with singular demon kills, and that's what they're assuming these ones are, instead of just the old abductions. Now, I promised last announcement tweet here, and since I'm too lazy to scroll all the way up, I've just set up a second tab. We're going to be talking about the second clearing in members' announcement tweets. Here we seem to be switching from news reports to some sort of character summary. It does the same with Akko and Kyle. I think here we've been switched on. Before we were reading newspaper reports, but now we're reading maybe a character summary. We're hearing what the maze creators think of these people, and we're hearing small snippets of it. However, if we're hearing small snippets of this through Outsiders updates, right? Then we're hearing it from them, therefore it could be reasonable to assume that this is being said by them. Now, to my knowledge, Outsiders Update in the real world is owned by Oeka, but correct me if I'm wrong. But it could be that the Twitter account itself, canonically of course, is the creators. I'm not sure, but it's the best theory I've got in a while. It kind of makes sense and it kind of doesn't. The other option is Detective Powell, because his clothing is very similar to Dot here, and I don't want to go here because he scares me, because he's a cow human, and that means there's a fourth race. There's a fourth race. Cow humans. You know what? I'm not questioning it at this point. We're just moving on. Anyway, one of the last things I'd like to talk about is the Elimination tweet, who, once again, I'm too lazy to actually scroll up to, so I've just done this. So, Guts was the one I decided to go with because I felt like it. And every time it says they've been eliminated, and due to lack of information and the possible meanings of the word, I can't make a solid call on it, but it may be that they're checking the Outsiders off a list for something. Just remember this as I'll be talking about it in a couple weeks. I'd like to mention something, though. We've never heard Powell's voice. He could be the voice in Kyler's dream, which wasn't actually in the script, but it's just something that I thought of on the spot. Anyway, for the final thing, I'm going to hop off Twitter real quick and take ourselves all the way back to the first episode of Outsiders. Here we see these leaves and these pieces of ivy. Well, ivy doesn't naturally grow like that. This ivy isn't normal ivy. It has to be some sort of different version of it, and every single line of it is a perfect staircase. This isn't just ivy, this is a staircase to somewhere. Anyway, that's me done. Put your theories down below, I'd love to hear them, and like always, my name has been Ghost, and I'll see you all next time.